Hey everyone, welcome to a new video series I'm starting. Obviously, if you're watching this on this channel, it says the Mike Witmer podcast, and this is where I would usually do or post videos, highlights of solo podcasts, sometimes full podcasts themselves on this page, but here and there I've toyed with it here and there. But this is different. I'm just seeing what I can do with this channel, that I have it. Now I'm just going to see what I can do and start an actual YouTube channel. And in this one, just to start it off, I thought this is the best way to start it off, was to show you kind of a tour of a little workspace, studio, office, whatever you want to call it, that I kind of been toying with for the last couple days here. So yeah, if you want to come along, keep watching. To start this tour, we're actually going to be starting outside of my little workspace. That's just over there. I figure this is just a good way to give you a little overview of what this space kind of looks like from a whole, because from the outside of it, I don't know if it really translates that well through video, but it seems like a bigger workspace when you're out there than when out here than it does when you're in there. And once I actually show you more of the room itself, I can kind of explain that a little more. But out here you can just see what was a failed kind of silk screening business that my parents and older brother Matt tried doing a couple years back, and this is just kind of the remnants of it. And the room itself, that's why I'm bringing it up, it was the dark room for it, and which was then converted into a little workspace for my brother. And again, I'll kind of get to that a little later, but this is just kind of a outside perspective of what the room looks like. That's pretty much it. It's not too terribly big. It'll work. And also ignore the sound. That is a server that my brother has running. Hopefully it's not too annoying for you, and hopefully my voice is kind of drowning it out. But who really knows? Because if you've watched any of our podcasts, Mike Witmer&Quake podcast, Underachievers podcast, even my solo podcasts, I tend to be a soft kind of speaker at times. I'm trying to get a little louder on the voice pitch front. I think I'm doing a little better of it of late. That's why I got this camera with a little external mic, just to try to get that out there more. So hopefully I'm drowning out that noise that you're hearing on the ground, that little noise there. So now we're in the inside of the room, clearly, and this little overview, I'll give you another quick, this overarching kind of view of the room at the end of this video. And the room does close. There's a door here. It does close. You just have to put a little extra pump to it. Sometimes it wants to close, sometimes it doesn't. So at the moment I'm just going to leave it a little cracked, because it's just not going to work for me today. So anywho, and obviously, to get the obvious out of the way, this was a printer that was used for our families from a print company, but it was now more so used for my older brother whenever he prints out pictures of stuff he took, and just this is what he uses for that. Also, this whole shelving unit itself is also his. None of the stuff in here is, except for the stuff that's on the counter, is mine. None of this is mine. The poster, the sign, the pins, none of that is mine. And I'll show you a little up close of each individual one if you are interested in that, just to kind of get you a little closer look at what each kind of cubby thing kind of is. As you can tell, and if you didn't already know from my other solo podcast, the video below this one, we are a big Disney kind of family, and especially my older brother, which explains these Disney pop figures of Maleficent, Bambi, Steamboat Willie, I think that's a Lego box set for the Ghostbusters car, Tinkerbell, a lot more other pop kind of figures, a lot of it more Disney, an iPhone case, like a camera, some posters of Disney parks and cars and all that. Now we're going to move down here. This little, from a flyer Santa, it's like a puck. I don't know who signed on there. Authenticity, little prop from the Like movie Kubo. this little guy here. And then we're going to move over again. More Disney kind of pop kind of figures here. There's a Mike Witmer, this little BB-8 pop figure, Rex up here as well. Still moving over, some Johnny Cupcake stuff over here. More Johnny Cupcake stuff, little Disney. Go down here, we get to the Lego portion, which is Big Ben from London, and obviously everyone pretty much knows who this character is, and if the name behind it doesn't give it away, obviously Wally, a Lego figure, and as I mentioned before, the Ghostbusters car Lego, and that's the actual set piece. Again, I didn't make any of those, my brother did, as well as the DeLorean there. Move over some more Johnny Cupcake stuff, more figures, some more stuff, some plush figures of Stormtrooper masks, an old GoPro, another Lego box, more boxes, some other art-y stuff, some cookbooks from Mountain Brown and others, more books, got some albums down here in the bottom portion, some more books, and that's pretty much that whole section. And then the pins here are pins from my brother Matt's and our family's vacations from Disney over the years, just the pins that were collected from the parks. A picture he took, I believe, at Animal Kingdom, that is a picture of, that's framed. But now, going over to the stuff that I actually kind of did to the room. So, as I mentioned before, this room was originally Matt's, as I just pointed out to you, all the stuff that that was Matt's, this little space that he worked with. As I show you this more space and more, you can tell where the speakers were, a TV was, just this whole desk kind of setup was where his setup was. Just show you what I did on top of that, which was already here in place. And this is what I did, just kind of put some old Macs that no one was using up here, and that's just a Mac monitor. It's not really Mac itself, but I got it hooked up to my old laptop just so I can have a third screen. It just pretty much shows the screen for my laptop, but I use that as well as this Mac just for any reasons, for if I want to podcast down here, any editing, any of that kind of stuff, just a little space that I can work with. At the end of this video, I'll show you the space that we usually do for where I usually do my podcasts from. But this is all the stuff I find around. This is an old Mac that my mom had that was just laying around not being used, so I took advantage of it. It's a little slow. It's older Mac, so it's a little iffy. Obviously, this is an older Mac laptop as well. Obviously, I got a newer one. This is just one that's still good use, so I just figured just keep it down here for any thing I want to do down here. And this is a chair that my parents weren't using from their office, so yeah, this is just kind of a work in progress, still coming along, and any updates to it I'll be sure to share with you. And even this desk I think is going to change over the next couple of days to a different, like a little smaller desk, but should still be able to fit all three of these two screens in my Mac laptop as well. I believe I can get it to work. Again, as I said, I was going to give you a little overview of what the room looks like a whole, just for a second, just to look around. Apologize if the lighting isn't the best, or video film is the best, obviously. Some lighting, cameras work better than others, and I hope this isn't too bad on your eyes, so. Like I said, still a work in progress, so we'll see what this becomes. I think I might put a little whiteboard that's on the other side of the basement down here. Just any thoughts I had, just to quickly write them down right there. Even though it's a laptop, you can do the same thing by typing it down on some document as well. Again, still work in progress. Just another view of the room from this side. It doesn't show well in the video, but you can kind of tell this was a dark room at one point. that was just a hole that was drilled in after the business folded, and just to put the light from the window in here as well as the light that is above me. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been working on here and there with the room. Again, since this is going to be the title of the video, and you're probably already tired of me saying this, but again, all this is a work in progress. I will figure out the other stuff later. Obviously, whatever I come up, whatever this channel ended up becoming, anything of that nature would be updated on here and on the Mike Witmer podcast Twitter page, if you want to keep up to date on that as well. And if you want to follow I'll put all this in the description below of our links from my own stuff or podcasting stuff that I do with Brian and Jeff. Just if you are interested in that, just to get a little better background of who I am, get a better sense of all that. Those are good two sources just to kind of figure out who I am and maybe figure out what you might be seeing out of me. If I can think of something creative or anything like that can come out from this channel. And I'll wrap this up by showing you the space that I'm doing the podcast at currently, and all that. And that's really all I've got for this video. I didn't really want to make it too terribly long. Again, there's not a lot to really show with the tour, but I figured a good starting point for this video was to start by showing you just the room itself, what I'm working on, and then as I progress more with it, give you updates here and there with it. Alright? As I was saying, this is the space that I'm using currently for the podcasting. Clearly, it's a little messy, but it works. Just in my room. This is really usually where I sit. That's why you see the white backgrounds in most of the videos on those. Yeah, this is about the podcasting equipment I use. It works for us. For if we ever have seen these times, can't really be in the same room. This is definitely not distance, so Zoom podcast, it kind of is for the foreseeable future, unfortunately. So